3, 2, 1, live. Oh, Lang Lang, I'm so happy to talk with you. I will start immediately with a story on how I met you the first time online. Yeah. I was working for Sky News in Italy. I had like a technology show. And suddenly I find a video on YouTube that I think, oh my gosh, this video is incredible. And it was you. I didn't know you were at the time. And it was you in a concert. And suddenly you get an iPad and you start to play on the iPad. And it's incredible. So my question after so many years is, was it because in Sky News they said it's impossible, this is CGI, and I say no, it's Lang Lang. I mean, it's like he can do this. So was it real or CGI?
It's a real. Yeah, it's absolutely real. It was the app we had that time. It was a long time ago. This was like more than 11 years ago, and so we just want to have a kind of a piano access to everybody, which everybody can play. But it's already programmed, and so therefore, and now we're doing exactly the same for all our charity music class around the world. We have exactly the it's the same kind of a fun system, which you can learn music in the very easy access. It's almost like playing a game, and so everybody can play a little bit. Yeah, this is that's the idea. The first generation that was. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy! So I was right, Lang Lang. Finally, you see, I was right, and you did it. Because I still remember everyone saying, no, it's CGI, it's impossible, how can he play? Also the iPad was kind of a new idea, so people thought, no, that's impossible.
Yeah, that was a first generation iPad also.
Oh my goodness, so that was not easy at all. By the way, I see online a lot of these tutorial videos on YouTube. For instance, one of my 4 children is playing piano. I think it's fifth grade. And sometimes I say, look, can you play this or that? And I saw online all of these videos where there are like little balls falling on the keyboard, right?
That's exactly what we were talking about. And now, when we're doing the music class around the world, we use the same program, because this is the way for kids to learn music with a very easy access. And also this makes them to be more enjoyable to learn something rather than forcing them to see some kind of a textbook. So in this way, they are just having fun, when they learn music. It's just catching the apple, catching the stars, and then it's almost like playing some kind of a musical game.
Yeah, it's like a gamification of music, of learning music. But do you think that someone so bad like me, my friends always say that I have like my ear are not connected to music, I can't really understand music. Do you think it's a matter of practice, or you need to have a good ear, or you can train your ear the way you listen to music when you're a kid, or do I have any hope? Basically, this is my question, to learn music.
Absolutely. You have a beautiful hope. You have absolutely. You can. There are many ways to train your ears, but you are born either perfect pitch or not perfect pitch. This is a kind of a that's in your kind of in your gene, right?
DNA,
but that doesn't matter. I mean, even you don't have a perfect pitch, you can still become an amazing musician. I mean, and you can also switching keys much easier than perfect pitch. So people like me, I have a perfect pitch when I'm born, but sometimes when people ask me to do another key, with the same note, then I have problems because I have a set ears.
Right.
But then, if you are a musician that you have to improvise a lot, if you don't have a perfect pitch, it's actually better.
Okay,
yeah, like my father doesn't have a perfect pitch, but he can changing the keys so much easier than me as a improvised musician. So it has a both advantage and disadvantage. Yeah.
I love the two categories. I think there are three categories now: perfect pitch, not perfect pitch, and Monty pitch, which is my ear, which is absolutely zero. You know, probably it's like that. You know what? I love the work that you're doing with kids, and I have a friend who's a pianist, and also he has a good following on TikTok. And in this moment, he's in Africa. And he got a piano on a van and go around playing music for the kids in Africa. And I thought it was a great idea because I think it's fantastic, because at the end you give children a chance, and also you open up an entire world with music. So I really appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you. I mean, that's great for your friend. That's so incredible. I was in Africa long time ago, and I know that people need even more music in Africa, because sometimes, you know, when you're having a more difficult time in life, music really cheers you up and direct you into a better direction, lead you into a more positive, optimistic feelings. So therefore, you know, your friend, this is incredible. What your friend doing in Africa? I really high respect for that.
Also, I see in the last probably few years, and you were of course part of this movement of educating people to music, to piano. I started to see a lot of piano around cities. I don't know,
Oh, yes.
you know, just feel free to play, and people go
Right.
there and play and try and improvise. So it's very interesting. Also, this I don't know if you notice this trend, more and more people are doing.
This is started somewhere. I mean, in the U.S., and then now it's everywhere. And then you very often you see a train station in, you know, like let's say in Manchester or airport in Beijing, or somewhere, you know, in the garden, some parks in Germany. There's always a kind of this type of piano that people can sit and start playing. And this is just wonderful to have this casual, you know, kind of a music lovers gathering. You know, it's like it's like you used to be like an English corner or language corner in a park, and now it's basically a music corner, and it's great. Sometimes you see people battle there. You know, I mean, some people play some jazz piece, and then somebody start playing Chopin piece. It became a real wonderful competitive battleground for music.
Did you ever stop to play to a random piano in the street? Did you
I
ever?
did once in Boston.
All
And
right.
we were actually planning for a big one in Paris, just, you know, in the train station, in the north train station. We were thinking about it, but then, you know, with the COVID, this was a little difficult. But we were also talking a little bit with the UK, a television program. They were thinking about kind of like street piano fight or something. We were thinking about it. I'm pretty sure maybe in the future we will look into it again.
That would be interesting to see if you stop by, you know, a piano in a train station and people come to you saying, "Well, you're pretty good, huh? Oh, yeah, you should play some piano." And yesterday you had this concert. Question: you lived like everyone else this COVID period with lockdowns and so on. And I imagine everything stopped, you know, like events and concerts, everything stopped. How was playing a concert after such a long stop? Maybe it was the longest stop in your life, the longest period that you never had concert in your life because you couldn't do any concert. How was starting again? Did you feel like uncomfortable, embarrassed? I don't know. Not.
Yeah, I really feel that I'm a pianist again. You know, that's kind of reborn. You know, it's like a newborn baby. And you know, yesterday we were very lucky. You know, because today they start to lock down in Munich for concert. So yesterday was kind of one of the last concert which you can sit a full capacity.
Full capacity.
Yeah. And and Austria, the same problem. When I was there, it was okay 10 days ago, but now it's completely locked down the entire country for culture. Yeah, really unfortunate. And yeah, so I'm basically praying every day to that we are. I hope that we are keep. I still have a few cities to tour in Europe, and then next year in January we start the tour again, and I really hope this will not have a major problem.
Impact. You come also to Italy, alla Scala. Are you coming to alla Scala?
I'm so excited. I haven't played in La Scala in ages, like probably more than 8 years, and in Rome also more than 7 years. So this is a very emotional tour for me, to come back to the cities which I love so much to perform. And the concert hall, I mean, La Scala, I mean, that's the jukebox of the opera in the whole world. Is the most famous place. So I mean, yeah. So let's keep finger crossed the concert will take place. Yeah.
Tell me something. Now, I mean, you are super successful and you have a lot of experience, and I mean, yeah, you play for such a long time. But at the beginning, when you started to go around giving concerts in these places like La Scala or these incredible locations that you've been touring, and were the first time that you enter these theaters or places that are sort of magical, they also put you a lot of pressure, because before you, incredible pianists play there, so you have this kind of pressure to perform at your best. How was it at the beginning?
I mean, obviously, doing this job, I mean, doing this profession, you can't be afraid.
Right.
You can't be having inner fear. That doesn't help, and you have to really deliver what you normally work for. Many years of work, you have to really deliver that night, and don't think too much, because the more you think, is you get freaked out. If you think about who played there, I mean, then you're not going to play anymore. You're going to kind of faint on stage. So you just have to let music brings you deep into the water, so let music carry you into it. And so when you think too much, it's horrible thing. You have a heart attack.
Yeah, sure. You do your practice, and then once you're confident that you practice at your best, then you let it go during the performance.
Yeah, just let it go. I mean, that's the best way. What can you do? I mean, of course, I mean, the fact that great musician always perform there. But if you are afraid, then just don't become a pianist.
That's not a good job.
Right.
If you don't like the heat, better you don't stay in the kitchen, was an old quote.
That's the thing. You have to carry this mood, and you need to carry the pressure. I mean, that's what
that's part of the job. Do you have any kind of strict routine before you perform? I don't know. You practice 1 hour before, or I don't know what.
I mean, particularly for this tour, because it's a Bach Goldberg variation, it's a very, very intensive work. A lot of notes and a lot of voices. So I have to be very concentrated. So I stay the entire time in the concert hall after 2 p.m. So the entire time there, and I try to take a nap there, eat there. So try to isolate from the bigger world. And this was very useful. I mean, this has really get me into the frame of the music world. Yeah.
Do you touch the piano or play with the piano gently before the performance? Or not?
I have to practice a lot. Yeah, because for some repertoire, maybe less. If you do the romantic repertoire, maybe it's more relaxed. But for this Baroque repertoire, you have to be really there and to constantly practice to get the function. Everything, it has to be, pitched with your hands. Yeah.
What I don't understand is that if I watch a video where you play, is like, you're God. Like, it's incredible the level that you have achieved, and it looks so effortless. I wonder if you finish a concert sometimes and you think, no, that was really not my best performance, or you are at a certain level that even your basic performance is still really, really good and appreciated, or yourself, you think, no, I have to work more on this because I don't understand how can you improve more from the level you are now.
There are several things. Of course, we can always improve, but in general, every night I really play my best. So I don't feel that I won't normally. I mean, let's hope. But normally I don't feel kind of bad, or I don't feel that it was kind of a pity. Normally I feel very satisfied, but nevertheless, there are still many things I have to be improved. But I'm very stabilized player, so I try to put my performance in a very high level every night. Yeah.
Got it. And give an example of what would you like to improve?
Yeah. There will be some. Always there's detailed. Maybe better legato. Maybe there's a better control here, and maybe a better interpretations. Maybe sometimes that passage can be slightly better. Slightly more smooth. Yeah, but very small things, not major problems. Yeah.
Got it. I was also curious about the piano itself. If you like travel with your own piano all over the world, if every city has got a different one, and you say, all right, these are the guidelines, and exactly what I need is this. How does it work?
I normally play one brand piano. It's called Steinway. It's a great. Normally, the older pianists playing this brand, and then so they made some special piano for me. It's called the Black Diamond. So we have. But recently, I only played what concert hall provide piano.
Oh.
So I didn't really travel with my piano. I think it's not necessary. It's too much work. I think I know the most of the concert halls piano throughout the years. I'm always touring, so I kind of know what we have in that city. So, but you have to be early to try the piano, to work with the technician. And that's a lot of work. You have to do it. If you have your own piano, it will be much easier. Then you don't need to always warm up that long. But this is actually fine. And also sometimes it's nice to play different piano. It gives you some more fresh thinking. It's like, oh, maybe I can make a different type of sound since I have a new piano tonight. So it's actually, for me, it's a good thing. Unless we have to make sure it's with the same branded piano, then it's easier to do. Yeah.
But then you adjust a tiny bit from piano to piano to be in tune with exactly that one. Got it. I was talking with your assistant before, and by the way, she said that the concert yesterday, some people were crying. I just tell you this, which is incredible. And she said that Goldberg Variations is such a long journey to do. So it's very complicated. It's long. I don't know. It's like 1 hour
90 minutes.
long.
90 minutes. 1 hour 30. Yeah.
Wow. How do you keep not only your focus, but you have an audience that has to follow you? How you keep everyone in tune with the performance? This I don't understand.
Within a big recital, you have to bring many different type of emotion expressions into the music making. If you always have one character, if you have only one story to tell, then it's become very boring. You have to create a little universe, and you don't need to create a big one, but you have to create something kind of like a fairy tale. and you need to bring the curiosities from the audience, and they have to be with you the whole time when you breathe in, when you breathe out. So this is kind of like, when you do a yoga class, you
Yeah.
have this in and out, when you're doing
Exercise.
this. And for music, it's the same thing. You have to have this, the movement of breathing in and breathing out. And then more important is the color of the sound you're creating, and then also the different feelings. Sometimes you need to have a very, very romantic feelings. Sometimes you have to play very painful. Sometimes you have to play very struggling, and sometimes you have to play so smooth, and sometimes you have to be very virtuosic. It's like sky's the limit. So you can just go completely wild. Let your heart out, and so you have to really take your audience into a different directions. And this is something that for recital you have to choose the right pieces, to combine those. For Bach, it's a different thing. It's a Goldberg variation, but it has 30 different variations, and every variation you have to repeat again. So this create the air, to create the characters. So that's why it's in a way, it's a quite dramatic piece.
Interesting. I watched once, was it Glenn Gould that was playing the Goldberg variations, and he was like talking or mumbling, I don't know.
He's singing different voices. So like if he plays two voices or three voices, he sings the middle, like woo, woo. Yeah. So he does it in a way is very convincing, but sounds a little weird. But
yeah. Interesting. I was thinking that I basically don't know pianists at all, but I know you. And for a long time, as I told you, I mean, we're talking probably 12 years ago or something like that. So I was curious on how did you manage to exit the classic piano world, very, which is let's say a closed environment, is a niche, and you managed to become more mainstream. And what were the key moments in your career that you started to go out from the classical music world and started to be more mainstream?
Yeah. So since I went to America as a teenager, the first day I was in a high school, and then everybody was kind of introducing me about Jay-Z or Eminem, and it's someone who come from China in the late 90s. I never heard rapper at that time. I was never heard. What is this? Why they don't sing? Why they only talk? What's the beats? And also the wording is quite rough, as you know.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, this is a quite different culture, and none of them of my classmates in high school listen to classical music. Nobody. It was like I'm the only kind of the nerd, come from Asia, from China, and coming to America to study classical music. And I was like really, and I remember when we went to Philadelphia Orchestra's rehearsal, after 2 minutes, all the classmates left. And I said, one day I have to do something. I mean, of course, I know classical music touches me, but the thing is that for the young generation, this is kind of like a
wall.
I went to the record shop in the US. So for the classical music section, it's on the 3rd floor with a glass building. So it's totally isolated from the entire record store. I was like, what's wrong with it? I mean, so then, but obviously I have to really work hard on my core classic career first. I cannot just jump into some pop stuff. So I started learning all the repertoire and focusing on the classical repertoire, and my career started taking off. And then I realized there are many great musicians did some incredible things, like Luciano Pavarotti, Andrea Bocelli, and those are the great examples. Both are from Italy, by the way.
Yeah.
and I thought, wow, they work with musicians like Sting. They work with musicians like U2, and 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 I said, oh, maybe someday I should also work with those great musicians, you know. So then, you know, gradually also I did the Beijing Olympic game opening. That was a really, you know, that really launched my mainstream career. That everybody kind of watched it and they know who I am. And then I started doing the Grammy shows with Pharrell, with Herbie Hancock, with, you know, great jazz musicians, and then obviously with Metallica, and then recently with Coldplay.
Wow.
Chris Martin in the Central Park. So then, you know, and then everybody wants to do something with me. Like last year, I teamed up with Lady Gaga, Andrea Bocelli, Celine Dion, John Legend. We did a song, a prayer to the world for the when we had an early time of the COVID, you know, that concert. So in a way, it's and there's also lots to do with a charity event when we're doing those things. It's kind of a bring the world together with a good message, and so yeah, and then. And then somehow, you know, people like to work with me, you know, from the other world, like, you know, from if you're a DJ, you know, of yours,
Yeah.
they come to me, they say, oh, Lang Lang, I think you're interesting, let's do something together. Yeah, so and then it's calling. Yeah.
But now, of course, everyone wants to work with you. But at the very beginning, it was after the Olympic ceremony that you start to get some,
Right.
let's say, international. You were on the radar. And did they, like, Pharrell contact you, or you and your team got the idea to say, let's try to do something together with the different artists? How do you work?
Pharrell, Pharrell saw me playing with Metallica, so he was right there. He was
I
in the
see.
backstage, so he saw it and he came to me. He said, you know, in the future maybe we should look into something together. I said, oh wow, that would be amazing. And so the year later we did a Happy together at the Grammy. So yeah, of course they have to see it first. They will say, oh, this works. Okay, let me think about what we can work together. I actually, I having a big project with Pharrell now. We're having an album together. I already recorded the first song last week. So yeah, so now we're doing a project together.
And how was playing with Metallica? Because it's a bit far away, Metallica sound from classical music. It's really not, I don't see many point of contact. So how did you deal with that?
So first of all, they were traveling to Beijing. So they did a big concert there in Shanghai, actually. And then the team that they worked is the same team who worked with me for some project in China, the stadium concert. So then they were talking. They said, oh, you know, we actually did a concert with San Francisco Symphony. They did some kind of a symphonic project with San Francisco, and then they said, you know, maybe we are looking into something with a classical pianist. It would be interesting. So they did bring the idea, and then obviously it was very, very scary in the beginning because heavy metal for classical music market is very dangerous. You know, it's, you know, pop is kind of okay, or jazz, right? I mean, heavy metal, it's many of the presenters say, Lang Lang, don't do it. This will ruin you. You will have a bad image afterward. I mean, certainly after the collaboration, my hair was longer because I thought that, you know, those guys are having a long hair that will work very well, you know. But we found the right piece to do. So it's almost like a Rachmaninoff or Bartok piano concerto, you know, with a very virtuosic, you know, sound. And I remember the first rehearsal was very funny. First rehearsal, everybody was so light, you know, because without electricity, you know what I mean? So everybody was playing, you know, with with the, you know, with the drum and with the guitar without plugging in, you know. So I was like, I was the loudest, you know. And then I was like, oh, this is not that heavy. And then they said, are you ready? I said, I mean, is that not started? Of course, we were just tuning. Okay, and then when they plug in, the whole room, I couldn't. I mean, it was like an earthquake, you know.
You should have plugged also your piano, with some
And
distortion.
I said, plug my piano. I don't want to get killed by you guys.
That's incredible. How is that when someone play piano or classical music, always say, pop music is easy. The real difficult stuff is, the classical pieces and Rachmaninoff, or I don't know.
For piano playing, pop music is easy, but not for singers. You know what I mean? Like if you sing pop music, it's not not easy to sing. But for instrumentalist, it's very easy because you don't have many notes to play. It's more like da 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 da. It's more chords. So therefore, when I work with the pop musicians, I have to play with my style. You know what I mean? Otherwise, I will get buried. Because it's nothing to do. It's not. It's not virtuosic. There's no technique to run like what they have in the classical music world. Yeah. So therefore, every piece, if we do something, we have to rearrange. Yeah.
Got it.
So you have to really make like a piece fit my style. Otherwise, it will be just like after 5 minutes, it's really nothing. I mean, after 5 seconds, it's nothing to listen.
I'm curious about this that you mentioned. I remember when Luciano Pavarotti, started to do Pavarotti with friends, Pavarotti and Friends, and went from opera to pop and world and started becoming a mainstream. I still remember the purists of opera writing articles saying, that's so bad, and I imagine you got the same feedback. Every time you go out of a niche, the purist of that word will attack you and so on. How did it happen? How did you manage that?
I mean, thanks to Pavarotti, the purist is much less criticizing this type of thing on those days. When you compare 30 years ago, I mean, that was kind of like, when you do this kind of thing, people think you are the traitor or something,
exactly.
Music. Yeah, but now people are starting to accept and much less critical on this in these days. And so that's why I have to balance, I have to play real classical repertoire. I cannot always do this kind of thing. So I have to be, maybe do something like this and then the real classical right away. Beethoven, Bach.
Yeah.
And then, and then people think, okay, he's fine. He can play. And then we would do another Disney, whatever. You have to balance. Yeah.
Interesting.
We cannot lose the roots. Otherwise, we're finished. Yeah.
Another thing that I was curious about is I'm very passionate about. I was a table tennis professional player, by the way.
Wow, really? Wow.
Yeah. So for me, every time you say China, for me it's like, oh my goodness, Chinese are the god of it. Yeah. So I'm very passionate about table tennis, and so on. And what I notice is that you have some super top players that after a certain career, they still
the best.
Malone, Fazodon, and so when they manage to be at the top without practicing 8 hours a day. So they practice 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, whatever, for a long period of time. But then the game become more mental, more finding the right tune for
more mentally, more kind of thinking.
Is it like that also for you, or is still like a strict practicing routine every day? How does it work?
Look, I mean, it's really, really helping when I practice. It's really helping. I can say very, very honest. Of course you can play less, you can practice less. It's still okay. It's not bad. It's still okay. But if you work harder, your level is higher. I mean, this is exactly, even for me today, if I'm practicing 1 more hour, I play slightly better. I really do
Right.
play slightly better. It's you have to do it. And I think for competing sports like ping pong, you have to play against somebody. I think you still need to practice. I mean, obviously not 8 hours a day, but 6 hours or five. Yeah, but if you play only 1 hour, you will know the difference. It's a huge
Yeah.
difference. Yeah.
And how do
Huge.
you maintain motivation for practicing after many years, and you already are super successful, and you already been in all the best places? How do you, what's your thrive, the daily motivation to say no? I have to improve. I have to make better.
It's just I know if we don't do that, the whole skill it will shrink, and and also we love what we do. I love being on stage, performing the highest level. I don't want to feel like I'm out of control as a pianist. So this is our profession. We have to be professional, and no matter how tired you are, how bored you are, sometimes you have to be very passionate about what you do. And if you don't keep that momentum, you're going to I mean, there are a lot of new players will take your place. That's
Got it.
the fact. There are many good talent around the world. They're hungry. They are looking for opportunities, and it's not that I don't let them to take the opportunities, but the thing is that I'd like to be stay in a great level, which I don't feel bad for myself.
Love it. Yesterday, Lang Lang, I was watching on BBC. I was watching An Audience with Adele, which is a great format, because basically Adele, the singer, she was singing, and then she was getting questions from the audience, and were, I don't know, Samuel L. Jackson and a lot of celebrities, Idris Elba, making questions, asking questions, and she was answering to questions and then singing and so on. So I loved the format, and also I
Yes,
thought
great.
that she, like you, at least that's my perception, maybe I'm wrong, but on one side she's super good, like, oh my goodness me, what a voice, fantastic singer. On the other side, she looks very natural. She doesn't need to behave like a diva, very arrogant. No, she's very humble, she's funny, and you love that approach. And I find it also when I saw your performance, for instance, the iPad performance, I thought was phenomenal, because you went from a very serious professional piece, and then a little bit of fun, and then we go back, and I love that approach.
Yeah, I mean, look, you cannot be too kind of sometimes I know some musicians are kind of very nervous about their career, and they always want to show only the best face or best part of their ability. But the thing is, you have to be yourself. You can't be always a pretentious person. And if you start pretending to do here and there, people know it's not genuine. The more people, I mean, and also today is the 21st century. This is not a time that you are only watching newspapers. You only see a DVD players. Here is all social media, and the more genuine you are, the audience like to be part of you, like to be part of your friend. And I think this is something for me is very important. We cannot pretend somebody, to just take a picture. Here is me. This is not right. And also, my personality is not that type of personality. I like to open up with my fans or friend to talk about music, and the more they know the reason I become a musician, then they also feel more connected. And this is even more for classical music, even more important, because we don't have such a big following as this art, like a pop music. There's still a lot of young people doesn't know what is classical music, so we have to really, open ourselves.
I was curious. What do you do in case of mistake during a performance, or in case of something that I don't know? There is like a loud noise in the hall, or something happen unexpected, and you have to
You have
suddenly.
to just keep playing. Don't stop. Keep
Okay,
playing. Keep doing it. It's you cannot stop. That's the thing. Just keep playing.
right,
Yeah.
got it. And that's it. And it is what
That's
it
it.
is. You just keep going.
Yeah. Music never stops. You just keep going. Yeah.
Okay, got it. And it never happened that there is something and you say, no, wait, I'll start again. I didn't like that. I'll just
No,
start again.
no, you
No.
can't. No, you can't.
Okay.
You just have to keep going.
Okay, got it. Because yesterday I saw Adele. Suddenly she was singing and she stopped for some reason. Said, no,
I saw that. I once in a Grammy show she did that. I know. I was I was there. Yeah.
right.
And she started again. Yeah. But it's a personal approach. I wouldn't do that. I just keep playing.
You keep going. How does it work for a pianist with time and age? For instance, I'm an entrepreneur. And the older I become, the less hair I have, but the more experience I have. So I can become only a better entrepreneur. But as an athlete, Federer or, Ronaldo, they cannot really keep playing for
the
long.
highest. They still have the brain, but sometimes the speed is getting slower. Which is unfortunately. I mean, this is for athletes. That's you cannot.
That's
be
how it works. How does it work for a pianist?
Less problem.
Okay.
Yeah, less problem because we are more with fingers. So if it's running, then of course everybody having problems. But it's for finger. This is a less problem. Yeah, but I think if you're 80 years old, the finger speed must be slower than 20 years old. I mean, this is also, but you don't need to play those pieces. You can play something else.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Different repertoire. Yeah, but for athletes, unfortunately, you still have to run together with 20 years old. I mean, this is something. No matter how talented you are, the speed is coming down. I mean, this is very unfortunate as human beings.
Tell me about the Goldberg variation. Is it true that it took you like 20 years of thinking
more than
about
20 years, 25 years learning this?
25 years.
Yeah, it's a very, very hard to understand this piece because it's Baroque piece and it's not even written on the piano. It's written for harpsichord, and so there are a lot of technique we have to learn, non-piano technique, like the organ technique and the harpsichord technique. The more important thing is how to make those styling of the Baroque time, those ornamentations, the trios, the decoration notes. There are millions of ways to play, and we have to learn that. And if you don't have that, it's just impossible to perform because then the sound is not authentic. Yeah, and also it's a very long piece, and there are many heartfelt moment. You have to be matured in order to play. Once you are very young, it's hard to get deep down into those passages. It's not not mature enough, and so that's why this is like a red wine or a good wine. You have to really take time to digest, to let it glue. So and you need to put airs before you need to pouring out and then wait before you drink. It's the same with the Goldberg. You cannot just learn and play. It just doesn't work.
Interesting.
Yeah.
With such a long piece, I was curious if it's something that you prepare. When a stand-up comedian, for instance, has to prepare a show, maybe it's 90 minutes of a show, and they start to prepare like 3 minutes of jokes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes. They build up, piece by piece, and then they get the full 90 minutes. Is the same for a piece like that?
Yeah, same thing. We have the same, but there are a few different type of performance. On television, you only have 5 minutes. So then you have to give everything in the very beginning, 10 seconds. You have to already start. But for recital, it's wonderful. You have a piece before the main piece. So I have a little appetizer to get everybody concentrate. So
Yeah.
I have there's a piece called the Schumann Arabesque. So I start playing 6 minutes to get people you kind of into the zone, and then I start playing Goldberg. So you have to do that. Otherwise, the first piece is very important. The first piece need to be a good appetizer.
Interesting. The audience that come to your concert now, did you notice a difference after the Olympics? I mean, is like a younger audience, is a wider audience? Who's your, let's say, community? Who are your fans around the world?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I still have a lot of core fans. So I still have a very matured audience, especially when I tour in Europe. I have a very, very professional classical music fans.
Okay.
Especially in Europe. In the US, I have a half and half. So I have a very good core fan, and then in the same time, I get a lot of young people who's maybe lower age than the regular concert goers. Yeah. And also, if I do a summer tour, I have a lot of new fans. But for this tour, the main fans are still the very core classical music fans for this tour.
Cool. 5 minutes and then I let you go. Do you still have a coach for now in this moment of your career, or you don't need a coach anymore and that's it?
I don't need an everyday coach, but I do need mentors to work with repertoire, to work with styling, to work with certain technique. Yeah, but it's not everyday job. So not like when I was a teenager, I need a coach every week. But when you have a good coach, it's always helping. This gives you new ideas. So now, I mean, I have a lot of wonderful musician friend. So we sit down and we talk about what should I do next step, what piece should I learn, and they give me advice. Yeah.
Got it. And also, I think your wife, she's a great pianist.
Yes. She just released her album also recently, and then she gave me some ideas too. We talk about few things, but obviously we don't talk all the time classical music. That would be crazy at home.
Every day, in the night, you try to sleep, and she say, "Today I didn't like the way you were playing." You say,
We talk more about our son.
That's great. That's great. Man, it was such a pleasure to talk with you. I wish you good luck for the tour, for everything. And what's next? I mean, what are your next big projects? Because I
just recorded a animation music with a lot of great music from Coco, from Frozen, from Transformers, but into the very, very virtuosic piano playing. So you still hear the melody, but we make it like really complicated. A lot of emotion, a lot of fingering technique, a lot of flying technique. So in a way, we are trying to make those music into a different dimension. So that's the idea. Next year we will have it. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for this conversation, and good luck for everything.
Thank you, Manny. Yeah, really, really happy to talk to you.